What's going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. As we record this, we are just over 48 hours away from Notre Dame versus Georgia. It's the Sugar Bowl, it's the college football playoff quarterfinal. And we're going to have an in depth preview of this matchup, looking at who has the edge in several key matchups. Folks, if you're watching live, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content. And of course, head over to blueandgold.com for all things Notre Dame football and recruiting coverage. We've got some recruiting updates as well going on during this time. On Tuesday, I'm going to do an article about recruits predicting the game, which isn't to be taken too seriously, but it's fun. So yeah, and then if you're listening via podcast, please leave us a 5-star review if you like the show, and fill out a reason why you're leaving a 5-star review. Tim, how's everything on your end, man?
Excited, nervous Nelly. Butterflies are flowing. Big game, Sugar Bowl. It's not just Georgia now. This is the new Bama. This is the program of this era right now, right? They are the dudes. And I mentioned it last week. What are they, like 61-6? I'm trying to find the number. I think it's right. Yeah, here it is right here. 61-6. Bama got them 4 times. Florida in 2020, and only Ole Miss. Only Ole Miss has beaten them in the last 52 games, not named Alabama. So you want you want to talk about Notre Dame winning a game? Yeah, this is a biggie. This would, obviously Florida State is Florida State of '93, but they beat the Aggies back-to-back games when A&M was 12-0 or 11-1 both years, top 10, top 5 one year. But this is, it's the Sugar Bowl. This goes back to the '91 season when they upset number 3 Florida. So this, to me, would be the biggest win outside of Florida State in '93. So, here we are on a Tuesday night. I just crushed 2 tacos with my kids. I'm ready for a nap. But you want me to come on here and talk about all these monsters and aliens known as the Georgia Bulldogs. So let's jump into it, Mike.
I like how you started that with like how this would kind of stack up. Because even like at some point we have to not care about what other people think, right? It's one of those things that's easy to say. It's a lot harder to put into action. Like, you guys know my whole thing. I wanted Bama in the first round. Why? Because of like the perception of things, which is caring about what others think. I'm guilty of it. And I'm still going to keep doing it. But so if Notre Dame does beat Georgia, we can't. Georgia fans, oh man, Carson Beck wasn't playing. This isn't our best Georgia team. It's like, bro, like SEC champs.
Yes.
First round talent. Both sides of the ball. Like it.
Everyone.
It's a damn good Georgia team. It's the number 2 seed. Like, come on, it would be in the Sugar Bowl. So
they have
this would be huge.
Yeah, they're going to have a first round pick at the end in Williams. Their linebacker who won the Buckus Award will be a first round draft pick, and Malachi Starks is a first round pick.
Yeah, Chambliss has got to be a high pick. That kid I saw in high school,
relentless.
He was a freak then.
Was he? Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was built like a tank. Because he was in Georgia, so I went to go see him when Notre Dame maybe had a chance.
He's like one of the only 3. I think he's a 3-star too, because I started looking at all these guys. Maybe by a couple services and a couple 4. You know what I mean? I was just looking overall. But I'll be honest with you, that dude pops out on film as
he's a freak.
He's a Josh Burnham type guy. Hopefully Josh Burnham turns into him. I know that's asking a lot. I think that dude is. I love how we're talking the show. We're talking about Chambliss because he just pops on film.
Yeah,
that guy's nuts out there. And then you got Starks at safety.
They got stud running backs, obviously too. So yeah, it's a really good Georgia team. But first, Tim, let's talk a little Notre Dame. It's one of my favorite things about the bowl season, covering Notre Dame bowl playoff. Interchangeable term for the sake of this discussion is there's practice availability, which we don't get practice availability. When I say we, just the media in general, you don't get that throughout the season. So spring ball, you'll get to see some practices. Fall camp, you'll get to see some practices. But otherwise, you don't get any look at the players for practices during the football season, but I think today was the third time the media's got to see them in the off season. And so many press conferences and stuff. So it's like a lot more media, which is fun for us. We got a lot new clips, get to see Blake Hebert and more CJ Carr, which we did a video on that with the guys from practice today. So it is fun. But like I said, there was like a walkthrough today. Like they did not get to see very much. The guys weren't even in pads, but it does look like Rocco Spindler is going to be full go, and Kingston Viliamuasa was moving around well, but I would say he's very questionable. Like I don't have a great feeling on that one way or another, but it does look like Spindler, Tim, is full go. So your reaction to those two little nuggets?
Yeah. Seeing Spindler in a cast, all I'm thinking about is, boy, I hope you could block a spin move. Those 6'5", 330-pounders inside. So get that ankle ready to roll. But no, I mean, he's Kyle Kelly. I think Kyle Kelly, or was it Sobels? One of them posted. They had a quote from Joe Rudolph, which I liked, where he just talked about, yeah, we're going with Spindler. I mean, these guys have been together since Navy. It's been the same unit, and the continuity with that. These guys knowing it, obviously each other, working with each other, that matters a lot. Obviously, going against the SEC champs here on Wednesday night. So, good for Rocco. That is a boot and a half.
Yeah.
Great looking haircut. So there you go. He's got the fresh too. The little mohawk mullet type combo going there. So that's good. Thank God he's wearing a helmet, right? But that was but no, I mean, he's going. I will say, man, God, how much fun is it just watching Charles and Gerby next to
Look at these two.
Look how long Gerby Lambert is. Okay, that's an offensive lineman, and I'll be honest with
His
you.
Arms.
That's all I was watching when I saw this clip. Like, I'm just gonna watch the two guys standing. How nice is that? But I like how they kind of Jags working with the number twos now. The last two media things, and it kind of looks like that's going to be right there, that's great news. I mean, just spend 10 seconds on that, man. The fact that guy missed all season, obviously, in line to be the left tackle. All you heard about him all winter conditioning, all spring, all summer was just like the coaches are like, that's going to be our next NFL offensive tackle. So obviously they're not going to throw him in offensive tackle because Wagner and Knapp have played every snap outside of the fourth quarter garbage times, So they're not going to mess that up. They got a little hole there in the inside. Charles, obviously a starter in the bowl game last year and a starter all offseason. So throw him in as that, the next man in if need be on Wednesday night. So that's a positive looking forward with Charles. And then, with KVA, he's running around. I think you've tweeted one time, like, I don't believe you on one of the depth charts on a Monday. I laughed. It was like, it was like 2 months ago. Like, yeah, I don't believe you. It's kind of like the Ron Burgundy meme.
I don't believe you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anchorman.
So with Kingston, he's just been in the groove really the last week, getting his feet wet, going from there. So I know we talked about this last week. I'm not expecting him to play unless he's good enough to give you some edge rushing help if need be. I think that's what we'd expect him. So in this game, this atmosphere, obviously they're going to go with the 4 healthy linebackers who've played a ton, and Kingston could be that edge guy if need be. So other than that, everyone else is healthy outside of the 10 guys on defense, right? But we'll roll from there. So very, very exciting news, and at least offensively, they'll go in there semi-healthy up front.
Yeah. Jay Carr just said a minute ago, I saw Knapp stand next to Gerby at the IU game, and it was absurd. Yeah, Knapp, love him, but like just he's punching above his weight physically with how well he plays at offensive tackle. Like, Tim, you haven't been able to see him in person. I'm talking he's a big dude, right? Like comparatively speaking, but you put him next to Gerby or a Baker, like it's impressive how good he is for just he's a freshman. He's playing left tackle, college football playoff.
wasn't even in the mix. And that's, when you look back at
Came
it,
out of
like
nowhere.
he
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. Joe Rudolph loved him when he was at Va Tech, recruited
Mhm.
him, barely, a couple of mid-majors, a couple of the ACC schools recruit him, and he loved him at Va Tech, gets hired, and he's like,
Mhm.
all of a sudden, you wrote about it within 48 hours, he's setting up a trip to come to Notre Dame and visit. So, and things happen. He just kept getting better from reading about it and hearing about it during the spring and summer, and worked his way in, kicked butt. Dude is a freshman All-American, so that's pretty.
Yeah.
Kudos to him. Heck of a season. But yeah, I mean, he's not your prototypical left tackle. I
No.
mean, he's like Zach Martin a little bit. Zach Martin obviously got moved inside immediately as soon as he went to the NFL, as did Liam Eichenberg, Robert Hainsey. So guys of that nature, but he's played well, man. He's played well. So it's going to be it's going to be a long arm difference against Georgia, but that dude fights hell, and that's one thing you could say. That guy really plays hard. So
Did you mention Zach Martin a second ago?
yeah. I mean, he was a left
So
tackle in Indy for 4 years, same size as
speak.
as Lindsey Knapp. Jeez, Lindsey Knapp was the left tackle, Mike, back in the 91, 92 years. Look at me. See, I'm getting excited for a Sugar Bowl redo, so that's why.
Speaking of Zach Martin, you can get a game-used Notre Dame football shut helmet of Zach Martin. What's COA? Is that like complete authenticity, or is that like a grading thing? But yeah, there you go. If you got $5,000, fork over, Tim. You can get that game used. Look at this thing. That's fantastic. So, folks, this is where we're going to talk about Augie's Locker Room. We know you love Notre Dame memorabilia and unique one-of-a-kind Notre Dame items. You can find it at Augie's Locker Room. Ooh, the Robbie Toma jersey. I love Robbie Toma. Big Robbie Toma fan over here. Great dude. Augie's Locker Room has moved to a new location. You can see the brand new store located. It was brand new as of October 2023. It's at North Ironwood Drive in South Bend, just down the street from Notre Dame. So whether you're local, you're driving through, you're in town for the weekend, whatever the case may be, got to make some time for Augie's Locker Room and check out their wide selection of Notre Dame Stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, and one-of-a-kind Rockne items. You can find exclusive Joe Montana signed items and famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the bronze statues around the stadium. And Augie gets new stuff in all the time. This Notre Dame football Joe Alt 3D figurine autographed needs to be sitting behind me here. I don't know why it's not there. That thing, that's incredible. That would be perfect in your boys' office. So visit Augie, 1733 North Ironwood Drive, in South Bend to see the vintage helmet display dating back to 1890. He's got some amazing stuff. You're going to want to check it out. Tim, it's been a really crappy week in the Singer household. Me and my wife are both sick. The baby somehow is just escaping it. I don't know how that works, but she's fine. But you know what made this week great, Tim? I did a pickup order at the grocery store, and I see the guy bringing my cart to my car, and I text my wife and I said, 24 pack of Miller Lite. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I like Miller Lite. I was surprised. Didn't see that coming. I was like, must be on a good sale. She says, I didn't get you Miller Lite. I didn't get you any beer. So the guy puts the stuff in my trunk, and then I saw her text, right? So I FaceTime her right away, and I show her. I'm like, is this the stuff that you bought? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they had Singer on the beer. I don't know how they messed that up, but Tim, I got a free 24 pack of Miller Lite. It's making this week's sickness. I'm just fine with it now. It's just for $20 worth of Miller Lite. That's my story today. I thought I'd share. There
Yeah,
you go.
don't drink all those Wednesday night. We're gonna be up till the sun comes up. So be good with those.
Fascinating story. Okay.
By the way, speaking of another guys, the JP Stefan one I like, so that's nice.
Mike's face when Tim can't read the room on a sponsor.
I was getting hyped up, man. I was getting hyped. I wasn't paying attention. I like that.
It's okay. Tim, real quick before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the show, this was posted the day after Christmas, so it's a few days old now, but so these things might have shifted slightly. But the national championship odds, Texas is the favorite, followed closely behind Ohio State, and then you got Oregon at plus 480, tied with Georgia plus 480. Basically, Penn State, the same odds as Georgia and Oregon at plus 500. And then have we talked about this? Did we talk about this last week?
You may have mentioned it here at
No,
the
we
end.
didn't have a show.
Maybe at the end. It's just the odds. I mean,
I can't remember if we did, but yeah, then Notre Dame plus 700. And then you have, Arizona State and Boise State, the long shots in the thousands. But yeah, Notre Dame, do you feel like they're a little disrespected here? Like,
no, because you got to beat Georgia. So, I mean, you got to beat Georgia. And that's the thing. If they're Penn State.
Well, Penn State does. I mean, I guess Penn State.
But they're saying obviously, yeah, it's the path. So yeah, I mean, if you're Penn State's path, hell yeah, that's why
you got Boise then. Yeah. Okay,
yeah, that's what they're looking at. So, by the way, I know I mentioned this last week, and I don't know why I keep thinking about this. It really bugs me that Penn State may have more playoff wins in the history of college football than Notre Dame on Wednesday. That really bugs me. So Notre Dame has to win. So the fighting James Franklin does not have 2 wins and Notre Dame with 1. That will drive me nuts.
What's the team that you hate the most in college football?
It's funny. Me and Goolsby have talked about this many times. Oh, for me, Ohio State. I've never been a Buckeye. I've just never been a Buckeye. Especially when I got into coaching and recruiting and sending transcripts and talking about academics and what transfers and Ohio State. There are no standards. There's no standards. We will take it. As long as you meet the barest of the most minimal things, we will take it. How do I know? Because I know. Because I've had guys with offers. I'm like, how the hell did you get an offer? You got 6 basket weaving classes. Got offered by Ohio State, took an official visit. So, yeah, they've always bugged me. So that's mine. Penn State, yeah, I've never been. Probably Penn State, obviously, the Holtz-Paterno era was awesome. Those games were just, God, man, they didn't like each other. And that's going back to the Notre Dame DC, Al Golden scoring a damn touchdown to beat number 1 Notre Dame in 1990. Why do I always remember that? So there's reasons for the Irish Penn State hatred. So, and then we've talked Michigan SC, just rivalries. I love rivalries. So love those rivalries.
Yeah.
Pure hatred. Yeah. I can't root for the Buckeyes.
Just one ND gal said judges will accept Michigan, Miami, USC as your answer. I don't like Michigan. Don't like Michigan. Not a fan. Very annoying. Cheating thing last year only made it.
Miami, yeah. I mean Miami, yeah. I'm not a fan of Miami. I don't like Ohio State. So that's just don't like the Buckeyes. Just don't.
Yeah. I love the Miami Dolphins, but I don't like the Miami Hurricanes. I said last night on the Goolsby show, I don't know if you watched it, Tim, but I grew up a Georgia Tech fan because I hated everyone loved Georgia around me. It just pissed me off. The same reason for the Dolphins. I picked the Dolphins because, when I was living in Florida at the time, everyone liked the Bucks in the Tampa area. So I was like, I don't like the Bucks. Just a little insight into Mike Singer and how I tick. All right.
Well, let's dive into Georgia.
Let's do it. Okay. So we're going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 key matchups in this game. And Tim is going to tell you who has the edge. So Tim first, what's up?
Hold on. Well, let's just set this up for
okay, go ahead.
6 seconds means 12 minutes, right? Here we go. So let's just dive into it. Obviously, as we start talking about these teams, we going back to the offseason, right? The old blue chip ratio.
Okay.
So post transfers, after you take out all the transfers and the roster set in August, Notre Dame was at 63%, Georgia 77%. Only Ohio State and Alabama was ahead of Georgia when you look at the blue chip. And then obviously in this game, who are they missing? Just Beck blue chip, right? Everyone else is pretty much playing. And then you got the Notre Dame's missing Traore, Botella. Both of them are blue chips. Mills was a blue chip. Benjamin Morrison, a blue chip. Who am I missing? There's got to be another guy, right? I feel like there's another one. You got obviously Mickey's no longer playing. You could count him. He was a top 200 player. So
yep,
we'll roll from there. But so you just start to think of that, and then the analytics, man. I'll talk about these a little bit as we're going. but I keep coming back, and this is something hopefully some of the people in the chat or yourself could ease me with is like, is it chicken or the egg? Meaning Notre Dame is better than Georgia in everything, Singer, everything. When you look at all the analytics, except for strength of schedule. So is Notre Dame better because their strength of schedule is lesser, or Georgia lower than because of their schedule? And I go back to a four game spot in this season. Yeah, Texas. Who was it? Texas, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida. 4 games in a row. So you just look at those 4 games, you're just like, my God. Notre Dame's toughest 4 games were what? Stanford, Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Navy. I think that was let's just say that's their toughest 4-game stretch. And you start to compare those. So, but I'm going to say, man, I've said it before and I said it the other day. This thing is so tailor-made for Notre Dame to win. It really is. So we'll dive into some of the positions. I just want to throw some of that stuff out, especially the blue chips goodies. All righty?
I feel like in our private, I don't know. Sometimes you surprise me because I feel like you were leaning Georgia, and I was like, Tim, all right, I bet you're going to pick Notre Dame, and I bet you are.
Hold on, let's go there. Georgia's got to be. I mean, as I watch film, okay, this a great little segue here, real quick. So when I'm watching film, I'm like, okay, who's doing that for Notre Dame? When Ole Miss wide receiver makes a move, breaks it over the middle, and the Georgia guy's chasing him for 20 yards. Who's that guy for Notre Dame? Who's the pass rusher that's just blowing by the Georgia offensive tackles from, Alabama, Ole Miss, those types of things. So that's what it's looking like when I watch film is who's that guy for Notre Dame? Who's that guy? And when they're double teaming, when Georgia's double teaming Walter Nolan, first team All-American, and he's holding the point of the attack, is that Donovan Heinisch on Wednesday night? So these are the things I always ask myself when I'm watching film. So that's why you're like, Georgia's loaded. And they've had an up and down roller coaster of a season. No doubt about that. So, but is that the schedule, or is that them coming off of a 3-season wave of just complete dominance in college football, where they're taking a dip down this season? So we're going to find out Wednesday night.
Before we dive into, again, those 7 matchups, let's talk about Roback. Best fit, best feel. If you're not familiar with Roback, what the heck are you doing? First of all, Roback is completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. And they have a licensed game day collection that's fantastic with novel polo designs, the excellent hoodies, the Q-zip designs. If you're a Notre Dame Fighting Irish, it's definitely worth checking out. Nobody else on the market is pairing these level of custom designs. And the big word talking about Roback is quality. I'm telling you, Tim can vouch for me. Like the quality of this stuff. I mean, you can go down to Walmart and get some cheaper stuff, but it's not going to look like this, and it's not going to feel like this, and it's not going to last like this. That's what she's. Roback's everyday shorts are the perfect pairing as well. They're so comfortable and have an elastic waistband and great fabric that is made to have the appearance of a nice short, but the comfort of an athletic short. And Roback has been proudly leading the NIL charge, having some past and former Notre Dame athletes like Michael Mayer, Audric Estime, and Michael Mayer as partners, and then Riley Leonard and Ben Morrison among the current athletes. Use promo code BlueGold20 on Roback.com for a very generous 20% off for all new customers. That's RHOBACK.com using promo code BlueGold20 for 20% off all performance polo shorts and more. All right, let's dive into it, Tim. Georgia's rush offense versus Notre Dame rush defense. Okay, Georgia, and looks like their running backs are healthy. Gunnar Stockton has to be considered when it comes to Georgia's rush offense. With they're going to run him a good bit versus Notre Dame. You lose Riley Mills. Notre Dame. I mean, with Riley Mills and a full go, 100% Howard Cross. I mean, Notre Dame is a lot of times, it can get gashed in the run game, especially since they blitz so much. And so Tim, would you go advantage Georgia here? Like, what do you got? Clearly,
God,
I guess I think Georgia. I mean, but what do you think?
this is. I'm going to sound horrible already. It's a tie. How's that? It's
No, 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 no.
no,
No
but
ties. You have to pick.
so interesting. Interesting you said this because I actually spent a few minutes today on PFF just looking at team grades in certain aspects, and this was literally one of them, where you have Notre Dame. Here we go, right here. The offense. You have the rush D for Notre Dame is 38. Georgia's 37 on rush O. So I found that fascinating how close they are. So it's like almost, flip a coin who's going to win this thing. Obviously, going into the game, let's just be honest, Georgia's got to have the advantage because you don't have Riley Mills. And Notre Dame only has 3 known entities inside. I know people want to say Mukum and Seviano. Well, I mean, they played against Virginia and Army in the last half of the fourth quarter. So now you're asking them to go against 2 All-American guards and an All-SEC center. It's going to be a matchup. It's a nightmare. So I would say Georgia by a hair in this one. But I think that, I mean, Notre Dame's going to sell out like hell because they can match up on the outside. So, and off of that real quick, hold on, it's tight ends.
Yeah.
If they're going 12 personnel, Notre Dame has to play 3 linebackers, and Notre Dame's strength is what? They're nickel. So Clark's not going to play a lot.
It's wild that you just said that Notre Dame matches well with them on the outside. I'm thinking to myself, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Notre Dame was without Ben Morrison, and you have no Jaden Mickey, which it's not Jaden Mickey's not a big factor to that, but no Ben Morrison and matchup. Well, you got a sophomore and a freshman out there. It's impressive, but we'll get into some more of that in just a few minutes. Actually, we're going to do it right now. So Georgia's pass offense versus Notre Dame's pass defense. Georgia has, they led the country in drops or something, right? Like they dropped a ton of passes. You have a new quarterback, and Notre Dame's secondary is really good. So this one's got to go to Notre Dame, right?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, this is Notre Dame's strength. I mean, they're number one in the country when it comes to man-to-man, playing cover one, man coverage. They're elite. I mean, even off of their PFF grades, they're number 3 in coverage grades in the entire country. Only Texas, and I forget who else is ahead of them. Texas is unbelievable this year. So Notre Dame is outstanding. So that's what Kirby Smart's probably thinking about is, all right, so do we want to be in 11 personnel? 11 personnel means Clark is on the field, meaning they're nickel, meaning they're 800 disguises that Al Golden does. Yeah. Or do we just want to go with – they have 3 tight ends that are outstanding. They probably have the best tight end group on the field. So do we just go with 2 tight ends, force Notre Dame to play 3 linebackers and play run fits? So, but Notre Dame's pass D all day long in this thing.
Okay. All right. So 1 for Georgia, 1 for Notre Dame. Notre Dame's rush off. So now we're going with the Irish having the ball. So Notre Dame's rush offense matching up against that Georgia rush defense, Tim.
God, this is what drives me nuts, man.
You all right?
No, it drives me nuts because I love data. I've been like a nerd looking at stuff. I'm like, Bill Gates over here. And without the cash flow. But no, it's fun looking at things, where they're at and things of that nature. Oh man, it's like Georgia gives up 3.67 a carry, so 3.7 yards a carry. Notre Dame is in the top 5, or I think they're 3rd over 6.3 a carry, 3rd in the country in rushing O. This is Notre Dame's strength. Georgia has gotten, they've been run on a handful of times by many teams. So, are they undisciplined? Some of their fits in some of the big games when it mattered, they've been nails. Tennessee, they played their butts off. Samson only had 100 yards. He's first team All-American. Obviously, I talked many times about what they did against Texas. 1.1 yards a carry in 2 games. That's not even fair. So Milroe tore him up, but they kicked the crap out of the rest of the running backs at Alabama. Oh man, this one sucks, Mike, because
got to pick.
You got to. I'm going to say Notre Dame because Riley Leonard's the great equalizer there. I think they'll get a couple of handful of yards, and we're going to count scramble yards as surviving advance in this game.
Okay, I would agree with you. I'm in full agreement with you so far. So 2 for Notre Dame, 1 for Georgia, but we still have 4 more.
Oh boy, I don't even know what's on there. So here we go.
We're continuing a trend here. So Notre Dame's pass offense versus Georgia's pass defense.
I would go Georgia. That took me half a second. I mean, they're not. Starks is unbelievable. I think Xavier Watts. I watched a lot of Georgia. Watts is a much better football player than Malachi Starks. Starks has all the hype, the All-American honors, all that good stuff. Dude, Watts is unbelievable. What he does on the field is outstanding. So definitely. They got a corner. Oh, my God, what's his name? Not Cornette. That's the Notre Dame. What the heck? Somebody knows in this thing. They got one corner who's a 5-star who's legit freak out there. So, but you can attack the other side. Where Notre Dame, I'm going to take 10 seconds on this. Where everybody has beat them is right in the hash marks, right down the middle of the field. You get them spread out. They pattern match like crazy. Safeties, backers turn, and Everett. There you go. Thank you, Jason. Yes, really good football player. And you attack the middle. Old Miss beat them by just running picks and making people chase all game. So, but I would give the nod to Georgia because I'm going to put pass rush in there as well when it comes to pass D equals pass rush.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Special teams, Tim. Notre Dame does have the special teams coordinator of the year.
Oh, how about that? Football scoop. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, Marty Biaggi had a lot of flash this year, right? With some things. The kicking woes, I guess the flash overcame the kicking woes and some of the punting woes, especially early in the season. But is this something you paid attention to when you're watching all the Georgia, like how they are on special teams compared to Notre Dame?
Yeah, the biggies, their punter's out. So they got a damn good punter. I mean, Kirby's a defensive coach, special team coach. Run the ball. They haven't run the ball the last 18 months because they've had Beck and they've chucked it all over the place more than ever. That's why their running numbers are down. I saw someone posted in the chat. Their rush stats, but they've thrown for 3,500 yards. That's why their rushing numbers are down. But man, special team edge is a good one. I know. I mean, how the hell is a coach going to blame Jeter, who's got a pulled groin or whatever the hell it is, right? And the backup can't kick like as good as you and I, Mike. So that's frustrating. But edge, I'll go Notre Dame with their return game. Not that Harrison ever gets to the 20.
What return game?
Yeah, no, I said return game in general. I'll give it to them. Maybe get some return yards. I'll go Notre Dame.
Okay.
Because you know what? Because if anything, they've made Georgia have to do extra time thinking, right? Thinking about the 100 different things that they could do that they've done on special teams. So.
Yeah, they got to pay attention to 26 out there. Tyler Buckner's the gift that keeps on giving to Notre Dame football. And then the intangible, Tim. So I guess this is kind of like the stage, the experience, just kind of the vibes, like the intangible vibe. Let me look up a definition of intangible for you. Unable to be touched or grasped, not having having no physical existence. So it's just kind of the vibe. Who in this game?
Let's go. Let's jump right in. I mean, the vibe for Notre Dame is what? You haven't won this bowl game since when? A long time ago, since the 1993 season, right? Since they've gone into a neutral site bowl game and beaten a top 10 team. Cotton Bowl, January 1st, 1994. Freeman was close until they decided not to cover anybody in the second half. What the hell is that? But we'll talk about that in 20 years. How the hell you blow a 28-7 lead, but whatever, right? We'll worry about that later. So a monkey's still living. You only lost by 2, Mike, so maybe we're getting closer.
37-35, was that the score?
Yeah, wasn't it? Yes, 38-36, 37-35, something like that. Exactly. So that's that's motivation. Year 3, I think these players, guys have gotten hurt and they just keep playing, right? They just keep finding ways to play. I think they play with the hunger since NIU. I think that's real. We've talked about that. Georgia now is You don't have your quarterback. Everyone assumes you're going to lose. You got a quarterback who's in his third year, big time quarterback when he was being recruited. Saban's talked about him on the McAfee show the other day, praising him about how good of a high school football player he was. So that intangible is the team's going to rally around him. The O-line knows we got to protect you. We're going to run the ball. Defense is like, bam, trust us. These Notre Dame wide receivers ain't going to beat anybody. We're going to run right over Knapp, things of that nature. Coogan, good luck blocking me. So those intangibles, man. Come on, man. You got to give me one even, damn it. One even.
Nope.
The intangibles in this one. I'll go Notre Dame year 3. How's that? After all that fluff, year 3. I'll go with that.
Coaching. Kirby versus Freeman.
Kirby.
And also you got the coordinators. Schumann and Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo. Well, we're going to find out because Bobo's got a coach without a quarterback, right? So that's going to be interesting. Do they go back to Kirby's old ways where they just ran it down your throat and play physical, rushing game and obviously defense, kick the ball, survive, go from there. And here's a coaching staff, man. Watching was that Tennessee? I was watching Tennessee last night. I watched a lot of Georgia. I'm like, geez, well, I should get paid. So I've been watching a lot. They had a stat. Georgia has been behind in 13 of the last 17 SEC football games. I found that fascinating. To me, that shows.
I'm sorry, Tim. Can you repeat that again?
13 out of the last 17 SEC football games. The announcer was talking about this. They've been behind.
Real Georgia?
Yes. Behind in some point, whether it's 3-0, 10-7, second quarter, whatever the heck it is. But the fact that they have been behind. And I think sometimes we're like, they just beat everyone 38-6. That they've had to fight and claw in the SEC, especially this year. This year was a battle. So I just found that, that talks a lot about your program. And that's kudos to Kirby Smart. We're like, hey, we don't care about the score. We're going to come back. Alabama this year down 28-0. They take the freaking lead, and the freakazoid freshman Williams makes the catch of the season to beat them at the end, or Georgia comes back from 20-0 and wins.
So we're going Georgia here.
Kirby. Yep, that's an easy one.
Okay. So based on this, you have
3-3.
Hold on 1 second, Tim. I have to respond to this. I think there was 7. So you have Georgia rush offense over Notre Dame's rush defense. Tight one, you said.
Yeah, it's a tight one.
Notre Dame. You have Notre Dame, you have both pass defenses having the advantage. So Notre Dame rush offense advantage over the rush defense for Georgia. Again, Notre Dame pass offense leaning Georgia's pass defense. So that is 2-2. And then special teams edge. This can't be equal to the others, right? It's the special teams. It's crucial in moments, but it's not. When you look at the entirety of a game, one field goal.
Well, especially Harrison. When's that dude gonna break one? Right? He's a freaking All-American last year. Break a damn kickoff return. So maybe he's doing the Sugar Bowl.
Sorry, just an important text. And then intangible advantage Notre Dame. So
yep.
Year 3 and coaching edge Georgia. So you do have 4 for Notre Dame, but special teams and intangibles, I feel like are kind of like a half of a point here. So it's like so it's about 3-3.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
or 3.5 to 3 or something. That would be no, 3-3. Sorry, I can't do math.
And then maybe the biggest thing is first-time starter at quarterback for Georgia. That's the biggest storyline. That is the biggest storyline. Is you got a guy making his first start against one of the 5 best defenses in the country. Al Golden's up for the Broyles Award. Should have been there last year. Come on, they've been lights out the last 2 years. Nationally ranked top 10 in so many darn categories, back-to-back seasons. So how does Kirby and Bobo coordinate a rookie quarterback who was really good? The guy could sling it. He could run too. I've mentioned he reminds me of Ian Book. So he runs around and causes havoc. So that I thought you had said 7. Where's the 7th one?
No. Well, I'm saying special teams and intangibles are like a half point. to you. So it would be 3-3. Real quick, Swan Dong, $10 super chat. Really appreciate this. Says I live in Deltona, Florida. Yeah, a little. Is that like Midlands, Florida, middle of the state? If I remember correctly, I was back in northern Indiana for the holidays to see my family. Can't believe how many Notre Dame stickers on cars I saw all the way through. We have a lot of support. Swan Dong, I love it, man. I was just at a kid's birthday party a couple days ago. For my neighbor stopped in, and father-in-law, huge Notre Dame fan. He didn't know who I was, so my ego shot a little bit. But he also, when I said, "Oh yeah, I work for Blue and Gold," Tim Priester, Loose Emoji back in the day. Oh yeah, like, I don't know what the hell you were doing back then. I don't know what you were reading. Yeah, Swan Dunk, appreciate it, man.
Oh, I love it. No, hey, right there, Intangibles. There you go. More stickers in Ireland for Notre Dame than Georgia. So there's a bonus point, Mike. Just keep adding them in. Anything to get over the hump in this damn thing.
All right.
Yeah. Just real quick, going back to Kirby, and then it's obviously, I started thinking, I don't have it off the top of my head, but obviously last year they won the Orange Bowl, devoured, Florida State, and there are 8 guys that showed up. Then they won a national title, won another national title, lost to Bama, beat Cincinnati. That was what Denbrock was probably there with the OC. Freeman did not coach in that game; he had left, right?
He did.
He did coach in that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually a topic at the press conference today, and he said that was his last game.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. I couldn't remember if all that happened after that or before. Because Clark Lee was that's right. It would have been after, because Notre Dame was in the playoffs and Clark Lee coached the D through the playoffs. So you're right. Yeah, all that happened afterwards. So Freeman, Georgia won that. So you're going back to 19. Last time they may have lost a bowl game. Yeah, it was probably Alabama. I can't remember with Georgia. They're in these damn things all the time. So Notre Dame, get over the hump, man. But just real quick, as we got a few more minutes or whatever you got here.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna add a couple of analytics. Just and these are the things that drive me nuts as I'm watching film, and you're starting to look at what, as I said earlier, the chicken or the egg, the schedule. But then you go to S&P, which is the big metrics, offense, defense, special teams, all that good BS that Bill Connolly puts out. And Notre Dame played as many top 40. I like to use top 40 because that's a March Madness term. They always do that.
Yeah.
Because obviously the coaches poll, those are picked by dudes, right? So especially the playoff committee. Oh, we got to make sure Missouri's in here every week so they get an extra win. So
hey, they just got back-to-back.
Sorry, Sobel, I had to say that. But they're always in there. But I found this interesting. Notre Dame has played Indiana, who's 11, A&M's 13. These are in the computers, by the way. I know A&M choked the other day. Louisville's in the top 20. USC's 25, and Army's 39. And then you go to the best wins per the computers by Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, both in the top 10. And then it's Florida, Clemson, Auburn. That's their next biggest wins. Obviously, they lost to Ole Miss and Bama, who are top 10 teams. So I just found that interesting, comparing the best wins. Like Notre Dame has a bunch of legitimate big-time wins over some, very respectable programs this year. So I think that's a plus in top 40 wins. Notre Dame has as many as Georgia. So that's that chicken and the egg, man. It's the schedule just drives me nuts sometimes.
So we're going to end the show here in a few minutes, and then Tim and I are going to record our predictions video that will post around noon Eastern tomorrow.
Well, I got to figure out a score then, don't I?
You'll have to figure out a score. I've had mine all week. I've been saying 1916 Notre Dame.
Woo!
What do you think? Just don't give me a score. We got to have people watch that video. But who do you think wins? Notre Dame, Georgia. What's your pick?
I'm gonna figure that out in about 30 seconds.
I'm pretty sure if I scrolled up enough in our group chat, Tim, I could find me saying, Tim, you're talking all this hype about Georgia, but I bet you're going to pick Notre Dame. And I bet you what you're about to do is tell me. I mean, because if it's a coin flip, we're going to lean Notre Dame. I think it's a coin flip. I'm leaning Notre Dame.
I'll be honest with you. It is. I mean, even last night I was watching it, and then when you dive into the numbers and you see how strong Notre Dame is in so many things. And it's so true. I mean, we say Georgia and we're thinking 20, the team that went 15-0. It is not that team. It is not. It is still Georgia. It is still Kirby Smart. He's got NFL dudes on every single position. He just does. They're everywhere. But they have been a roller coaster, even with Carson Beck and his quarterback skills. And, he went a month throwing picks, and then the last month of the season, he didn't throw any picks. So it's an interesting team. God, I can't find my numbers because they didn't blow anybody out. Their biggest blowout's UMass, and that's not, I don't even know.
That game was tight early. I remember that.
That game was tight earlier, and they went on to win by like 38-39. So every game, I mean, even Auburn, they only won by like 14. A couple games, I think their biggest win is 15 points. That's nothing. So it's a fascinating game because when I watch the film, you just keep thinking Georgia, Georgia, Georgia. But then it's like, damn it, I just want to yell because how you can beat Georgia is right in front. I know Denbrock, I know Golden, I know all those guys see it. Those players, man, if they execute this thing, dude, this could be a 10-point win.
Yeah,
it can. It's right there for them, and that's what's so nerve-wracking and frustrating all at the same time. Like it's right there for you guys. And going back to your point to open the show, Mike, you beat Georgia. I don't want people. Oh, you didn't have this guy, but who gives it? It's Georgia. You know what I mean? It's still Georgia. So Notre Dame beat Georgia. I don't. There's no excuses. There's no. Well, we didn't have this guy or the left guard missed a block. No, I don't give a damn. You're literally playing the program, the best program in the country right now. So this win's a win.
People are, Mike, how did you get to 19? I don't know, guys. Damn,
field goals,
man. A 3-point win. I think a safety. You miss a PA. I don't know, dude. Hey, 19-16. Don't overthink it, guys. That's what I'm saying.
The best game all year was the Ole Miss game. I watched that one multiple times, and it's awesome. But they had to settle for 5 field goals. 5 field goals against Georgia. They got inside the red zone 3 times and had to settle for field goals. So, Georgia, Schumann, their DC has talked about they've been more of a bend don't break.
Have you given me a pick yet?
No. Oh no. We're gonna do that in a few seconds. I'm not doing it on this show, Mike. I'm saving.
But I just need a team. I
don't know yet. I'll see you on the other side. Let's clock out.
19 was my high school football number. All right. So skip Notre Dame, but give me Penn State, Boise State prediction. I don't care about a score. Who wins? Penn State?
Penn State by 17.
You got Texas big over Arizona State?
Yes. Linemen win games. Yes. Welcome to football, ASU.
By the way, Brett McMurphy reported that the committee or whatever, the deciding governing factor is already looking at redoing the seeding, so it's auto buys for the 4 highest ranked teams. No, I still wonder, would they penalize Notre Dame for that? I think they would, because you're still not playing in a conference championship game. In the conference, I still think they would keep Notre Dame from not getting a bye. That's my gut right now.
I got a lot to say on that, and we'll dive into that in another show because
I'm just curious. I just want to know, Tim, do you disagree with that? Like, do you think they would or not?
Man,
I just want to know your thought on it real quick.
Notre Dame can't be, higher than a 5. Is that what you're going to say? I mean, if that's the rule, then that's the rule. There's got to be a price of independence. So
yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, because anyways, and then Oregon, Ohio State, the biggie.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing because if you're, 2018, you're 12-0, you're they went into that game as the 3rd ranked team in the country against Clemson. You're automatically going down to 5. That sucks. So, but we'll see how that plays out, But if that's the price of independence, so be it.
Oregon, Ohio State, who you got?
I picked Oregon. I'll stick with Oregon. Win by 1. What a game that's going to be! I can't wait for that, man. Yeah. That's going to be a beautiful one.
Yeah, I've got Oregon as well in a tight one. Yeah, Notre Dame still get the 5-12 in that scenario. It's like, it's okay.
Exactly. And in this scenario,
you're playing a SMU or Boise. Like, it's all right.
Had they had it this year, this weekend's game would be 4 Penn State, 5 Notre Dame.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, that would have been fun.
So
it would have been Notre Dame Clemson this year, which
yes
would have been honestly, it would have been a tight game, but I would have loved that. you guys know my thoughts on it. Anyways, Tim and I are going to go record that other video that you'll be able to find on our Blue and Gold YouTube channel tomorrow around noon Eastern time. Please hit the thumbs up on this one. I feel like this show we just breezed through it. It went so quickly. But if you're just joining us here recently, you missed some stuff we talked about earlier in the show, rewind, go watch it, leave us a thumbs up. If you're watching back, drop us some comments. Let us know what you thought about today's show. And again, if you're listening via podcast, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Appreciate you all for watching or listening, and we'll catch you next time.